Contingency log number 98, codename the Meister. What is a soul? The embodiment of our very existence, and yet are we shaped by it, or the other way around? Can our actions affect it? And if so, by how much? The world of Soul Eater seems to have an answer, and it's far deeper than one would expect. As in this world, the actions of the cruel and the wicked can change one's soul, altering it, infecting it with a madness until it becomes something else. And if left unattended to, this soul could result in something far worse. To prevent the birth of another monster, the Grim Reaper himself would step forward, tasking himself with preparing future generations to combat these evil souls, creating a school which would allow students not just to learn about the ever-looming threat and how to combat them, but also in learning how to harness their abilities for better use in combat. This school would help shape various students, some of which I'm sure I'll have to make contingencies for in the future. But for this contingency, I'll be focusing on the team of Maka Albarn and Soul Evans. This duo have a rather unique team dynamic, as one of more than just a human, as Soul has an ability to transform his body into that of a weapon, an ability that a select few others in his school are capable of, each teamed up with another student, taking up the roles of weapon and their weapon, Meister. And in Soul's case, he would take up the form of a scythe, something that Maka is capable of wielding near effortlessly. This being because both she and her weapons have managed to resonate their souls with one another. Their souls being of a sound mind and body, Maka is capable of using hers to amplify her weapons and vice versa. But they are more than a simple weapon, and his wielder, as Maka and Soul, are capable of far more than slashing away at an opponent. As when the two of them truly resonate their souls as one, they can augment their output, transforming Soul into a form known as Witch Hunt, which not only increases his size, but can also greatly increase his damage output. And when pushed beyond that, they can obtain a form known as Demon Hunt. But not all abilities they've obtained are forged through their bonds alone, as there is other power they'd amassed through accidental means. As a near-death encounter would result in Soul being infected, a substance known as black blood mixing with his own, and causing some unforeseen changes within him. Something that would also affect Maka, resulting in both a blessing and a curse, depending on perspective. This substance called black blood, created by a witch who, coincidentally, was the one who created the weapons originally, operates similar to normal blood. But there are some properties which makes it far more useful, especially in the combat department. When triggered, and the black blood melds with Maka, it results in a boost of her abilities, not just making her stronger, but it can also greatly increase her defenses, as the black blood will solidify to prevent her from sustaining any fatal injuries. But there's a drawback. This blood doesn't just affect your body, it affects your mind, altering as you are overcome with madness. Even Maka wasn't immune to this, and if she used it too much, it could run the risk of altering her very soul as well. But she wasn't the only one who could suffer consequences for overuse of the blood. For Soul didn't just have the blood enter his body, as it also seemed to come with an uninvited guest, a small ogre who seems to be the manifestation of the black blood itself. It talks to him, entices him to use the black blood, a sinister smile always spread across his face, and it seems that the more Soul uses it, the more he becomes dependent on its power, the stronger this ogre became, up until the point where he'd almost managed to devour Soul himself. But he and Maka managed to overcome this madness and become stronger for it, strong enough to stand at the peak of strength and fight off the source of the madness. But this madness is exactly where the problem could arise. As I stated, it can warp one's mind, and when afflicted with the black blood, Maka could lose herself to it. And if she hadn't managed to snap out of it and regain control, who knows what could have happened. and as some traces of the black blood remained within her, while low, there is still a chance that it could come back to haunt her. Countering Maka could come down to a few factors, the first being if she still has possession of soul, as there is a chance that if Maka has been consumed by madness, then soul may still be under control, which will at the very least hinder her method of combat. Though there is a chance that might not be the case as well. See, while she is officially a weapon meister, there is an alternate timeline where she is also a weapon. This due to her father being one as well, a trait he'd passed down to her with no knowledge of it. But this power didn't manifest until she was rendered weaponless and unconscious, a defense mechanism that triggered to help keep her alive, her subconscious being capable of using her weapon abilities in ways far more versatile than she could with soul. Worse still is my usual method of fighting from the shadows may not be as effective against Maka as well, as no matter how well I am hidden, Maka has a way to pinpoint my location. This is due to an ability she has, one which allows her to see the soul of others. This can prove to be a problem, as Maka is not someone of which I can afford to get close to. And this is more than due to her weapon usage, as it can come down to the madness which could possess her. You see, if someone radiates a strong enough level of madness, it can affect those around them as well, and I am unsure how susceptible I may be to it. If I wish to have a chance, I'd need to find a means to cancel out at least some of her abilities, which would require she be faced with someone who lacks a soul, which brings me to something I've had hidden for a while now. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Failsafe, a robotic advanced artificial intelligence created as a counter against an alternate version of myself. While I am not 100% certain about how it was created, the idea of it alone sparked some inspiration, enough so that I would create one of my own, though with some slight alterations. I have removed the artificial intelligence aspect of the robot. Don't want to risk creating my own Ultron situation. Instead, it will be controlled by me via a wireless connection from a safe house. Tim has taken to calling the robot the Bat Rider, which I've decided to make official much to his glee. As a machine with no soul to speak of, many of Maka and Soul's abilities should be completely useless against it. But that in of itself isn't enough to make this a definitive victory against her, as the destructive force she is capable of could destroy it if I'm not careful enough. While I have equipped Bat Rider for combat, my initial strategy would be to take advantage of his ability to hide. I have equipped it with various aerosol chemicals, each with a different effect ranging from some which can cause disorientation to outright induce sleep. My plan is to overwhelm her in a way which bypasses her resistance to physical damage. Should this work, I have plans to remove the black blood from her system. My hope being that removing it would not only undo the change caused by the madness, but also prevent it from appearing again in the future. If you also have a character you wish for me to cover, or just want to support this channel, I'll have a link to my Ko-fi page. There will also be a Google Doc with the list of characters who have ever been done or already commissioned by others.